right, good morning. My name is Kendra Strupp. I serve as the Vice President for Marketing and Communications for USI. We are delighted you could join us this morning for a live virtual discussion with a number of members of the USI community. We may be having folks join as we go along, so I'll repeat a few things over time. But as we get started, just want to let you know who is joining us here in the Zoom meeting. Dr. Ronald Rochon, who's of course our USI President. Steve Bridges, who's the Vice President for Finance and Administration, as well as Andrew Linhart, who is the Executive Director of Human Resources, David Bauer, our Vice President for Development, who is our Provost, and Dr. Kalola Das, our Vice President for Students. So we're going to get right to it. If you'll take a look at the bottom of your screen, you'll note that there's a chat feature. We're going to encourage you to provide any questions that you have in that chat function. And if you would keep your phone and or your Zoom meeting on mute for the moment, we may open it up later for those who are on the phone. But let's start with the chat feature. And you can submit those questions at any time. We'll try and get to all the questions that we can during the discussion. But before we get to that, I want to jump in right now with Dr. Rochon to get us started with a few words. Dr. Rochon.
Thanks, Kendra. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's good to see familiar names on the screen. If you like to, you can provide your video. We can look at your faces and we can get a big smile and uplift our spirits as well. But thanks for making time to be with us this morning. Our goal really has been with this effort to just update people about what's happening at USI, kind of give you a sense of some of the things. You would be so incredibly proud of the responses. So watching across discipline, for some students, online instruction has been very responsive with regard to outreach to students, providing them resources have a difficult time with regard to securing safety space possible during this health crisis, and finding out what their needs are, what's going on in their lives. It's about commencement, and also from families. I wanted to let everyone know, we have postponed commencement. We're looking because of some kind of event that's already been set, and so commencement. And if that's still a problem for them, we would love for them to have their own distinctive celebration of commencement exercises. So again, we can have as many family members attend, celebrate their student, and be a part of it. I know that many of you have recognized that we have literally gone remote for everyone other than authorized personnel. We've done that because we have such a skeletal campus staffing right now. And one of the things that we wanted to focus on, especially with public safety, is to make sure that public safety and also the sheriff's office, they're able to focus on the security of the campus, making sure that we have everything we need in place. And so, taking any chances with anyone on the trails or anywhere else on campus, someone falls, trips themselves or is injured, it would take us away from what we want to focus on into an emergency situation where we really have a skeletal staff. So we're trying to mitigate risk. So I apologize to everyone for this temporary inconvenience. I know that a lot of folks, enjoy the campus as we all do, but right now we're just asking people to please be patient with us as we go that direction. I want everyone to please understand that the website that we have, Kendra Strupp's staff, they've been working hard to have that COVID-19 website. Please go to it for any updates, any information you need about the university campus, and please, if there's anything else that we can provide you with regard to additional information, feel free to provide us that as well. Then last but not least, and I'll stop because we want to hear from you all. I want you to understand that we are working hard to make sure that safety is the priority. We'll be working remotely up until this point, at least until April 30th. We've been having meetings with faculty, staff, administrators, students, parents. We have been really providing as much outreach and touch points as possible for each constituent group. So I know that some of you have talked to those folks. I want to thank you again for your continued outreach to those families, providing them the information that they need. It's been a really amazing challenge because of technology. Really varies from house to house and community to community, but I really appreciate the effort that our team has put forth. So I'll stop there, and Kendra, I'll have you go ahead and start us with moderating some questions.
Thank you so much. Dr. Rashan, we appreciate it. And we appreciate all of you being on. As he mentioned, it's really nice to see some names that we recognize. If you have friends or others who were not able to join us today, you may notice that we're going to be live on YouTube. We're recording this right now. We will make it available later in the day or tomorrow on the website that Dr. Rashan mentioned, www.usi.edu/COVID-19. Hopefully you've been getting the communications from us for the last number of weeks with updates, and it drives you to that site. We want to make this as interactive as possible. So for those of you who joined a little late, please note that there's a chat feature at the bottom of your screen. You can ask any question. You'll want to direct that to either Ben Luttrell, who's serving as a host, or to myself to make sure that we get those questions. Really looking forward to hearing from you. Want to make sure we focus on this time frame and provide all the answers we can on what's happening around campus and with our students. But we know we have received some questions related to health and that related to insurance and so forth. So I want to maybe start off our discussion with Steve Bridges and ask if he would speak a little bit to the questions you're hearing through HR. And Andrew, if you want to chime in related to healthcare.
Thank you, Vice President Strupp. Greetings to everyone. It's good to see you virtually. I'd love to see you in person, but virtually is nice as well. So we have been struggling a bit with some of the retiree Anthem insurance claims, and I just want to address that now to let you know. We've been working diligently to try to resolve those. It's pretty frustrating for us, and I know it's even more frustrating for you. We continue to monitor and try to get claims pushed through and processed, and we'll continue to work to do that. I think from what I'm hearing, the 2020 claims are doing well. We still have some from 2019 that are a struggle. We've been on the phone in the last week with our insurance broker to help us with that, and we've taken it to the highest levels and know we feel that pain. Also, there's some information regarding the required mandatory distribution for retirement accounts, and I know a lot of those were valued as of the end of December, which was at a high point, and now there's been some relief in the federal government on the fact that you do not have to take those because they realize the market's dropped out, and that's very difficult on the corpus of retirements. So know that we'll be having something out relatively soon from our human resources staff as part of our updates on that. And if Andrew wants to comment on it, that's fine as well. I'm happy to try to address any questions you might have.
Andrew, do you have anything else to offer at the moment?
I would just like the group to know that we've been working hard with Anthem to try to get the issues resolved. We haven't had as much success in that as we would have liked. We have reached out to some other state universities, and we're not the only ones. There are some other folks within our network that are experiencing similar pain points and working with Anthem, but we're working with our benefit broker, Lockton Companies, to try to remedy the situation. And I think Steve mentioned 2019 and 2020 claims. We have asked for a claims hold to be placed on all claims until we're able to try to remedy the situation. Right before the COVID-19, we were looking at setting up a WebEx or a webinar with Anthem representatives to try to have an open format to address questions and concerns. And even the lack of sometimes consistent information channeling back to you all. And it looks like we may be able to do something here virtually within the next week or 2 weeks.
Thank you, Andrew. A reminder, you can use that chat feature, either send it to Ben Luttrell or to myself, Kendra Strupp, with any questions you have. I want to turn to Dr. Qayyum first. I know a lot of our retired faculty probably engaged with faculty on campus, but wondering how it's going in this online environment. It's quite a shift.
It's been more than quite a shift. It's been a tremendous adjustment. But I'd like just to say something to all retirees. Your legacy is intact. We made some dramatic changes in instruction and on the academic front. And because of the foundations that were laid many, many years in the past, we're able to do that with the collaborative spirit and just the USI spirit of getting things done. And that's something in the culture. That doesn't happen easily. It's built over a long period of time. And I think that mindset was a big reason why we were able to do what we did as quickly as we did, in a transition that has been very manageable. I won't say smooth in every respect, but very manageable. And I think the key piece for you to understand where your imprint is still so strong, student-centered has been our motto along the way. And I know it's been challenged for many students, but our faculty really and other offices have been critical in ensuring that the students understand that that's still a critical piece of who we are at USI. So our faculty have been extremely responsive under tremendous stress, students as well, because you can imagine dislocation for students in terms of the technology issues, but back in locations where they don't have maybe even space to have a study spot, or the silence and the things that they can get in our library. So it's been a challenge, but we've risen to it as far as we can based on evidence that we received. And there's still some things to be worked through, but I think a lot of your work is an important reason why we're here and have been able to accomplish so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kayyem. I'll come back to you in a minute to talk about some of the changes related to no pass, pass, and so forth. But right now, I would like to turn to Dr. Doss. If you could speak to our student, what's going on with our students right now. Dr. Rashan mentioned that we do have a number of students who remain on campus for reasons that are out of their control. How are they doing, and how do you feel like the student body is doing in general?
We have a very resilient student body. I've shared this before. They're upset that, you know, for some of them who are also seniors, their senior year has been cut short. And we're telling them to embrace that emotion and still fly forward, right? They are thankful and appreciative of the support that they have received from USI. I follow some of our students on social media, and just the way they engage with us and talk about the things that we do to support them. For instance, the president barbecuing for 6 hours and having someone transport that food to our students who are on campus speaks a lot, right? Heidi and her team are also doing an amazing job with our international students. We have a weekly meeting on Sundays at 7 o'clock just to touch in with those students as well. The housing team have done an amazing job in supporting these students and providing resources for them. They are being fed. We have a dining hall facility in housing that is open from 12 to 6, that is also staffed with a skeletal crew. We also have telehealth on campus, or not just on campus, for students who reside in Indiana. And what that means is our students who we know are having a hard time navigating this new normal have access to counseling services in a virtual way. They also have access to our health clinic that's operated through Deaconess. They're providing telehealth to our students. So the one requirement we ask is if our students are going over, that they call so they can be screened. And the technology in this thing is so amazing that they don't even have to go in person. They can go through the teleclinic piece of that and get supported. The Office of Student Development Programs, MCC, Rec and Fitness, have been putting out virtual programs. On average, we have 100 to 150 students participating in those programs weekly, which is high. We expected maybe 30, so we're pivoting because those numbers are increasing. So our students are doing well. They're very resilient. And if you engage with them and know them, please just continue to tell them how proud you are of the way they've been navigating this, because it's not easy. Our Dean of Students office is also still up and running and functioning, getting information in and supporting our students and pointing them in the direction of resources that they may need. Just to brag on David Bauer as well and his team, we actually have a fund set up that's used to help our students who don't have resources. It's probably the most accessible program I've seen like this. There's really no barriers to our students applying for these funds. David's office and on our financial care team processes these, and within, I would say, 3 days, our students have monies in their hands to support them. So your campus is working for our students, and they're appreciative of this.
Thank you, Dr. Doss. David, I'll get back to you in regard to the fund in a minute, but I want to get to a question that's been submitted. Is there any additional support being provided to administrative and support staff to make some vital functions maintained? I know there are many academic policy changes due to the closure of campus, resulting in additional work for staff. So I want to turn perhaps first to Dr. Rashan. I know we've been hosting meetings like this with our employees, and we'll do so again next Wednesday. Your thoughts about how staff are handling this. And then Steve, I know your team has particularly been working hard in terms of managing bills and so forth. Maybe you'd like to speak to that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Kendra. You know, the main thing is that our connectedness and communication has been ongoing. And I think that people really have appreciated that. Every single meeting that I have, folks have articulated very clearly their sincere appreciation for Kendra's team of just really being on top of every single change and pivot that we've had to make across the course of this time. Additionally, I'll tell you, one of the I think greatest stressors is people realistically, you know, looking at the reality around the country, businesses closing, layoffs occurring, furloughs, et cetera. And one of the things that I've been really proud of with regard to our university, our team, our board of trustees is that we've been able to keep everyone financially whole at this point. You know, people being paid the normal rate of pay prior to the COVID crisis. And so, you know, we have worked hard to alleviate as much anxiety as possible. People are finding themselves wearing multiple hats, different hats, and rightfully so, finding ways in which they can be of great use to the university. And so we have a prideful campus, we have a purposeful campus, we have people who are concerned about the kind of work they put forth every single day. And so, you know, just really trying to utilize their skill sets, their competencies, their talents in the best way possible, I think has really kind of alleviated a lot of the stress for folks. But the reality still looms. You know, folks are wanting to know when this is going to end, when normal will return, and we too are anxious for that to happen. Our main thing again is to make sure that we're paying very close attention to the data, to the national and federal messaging, and make sure that safety is at the top of thinking with every decision we make moving forward. So Steve, you want to add anything to that?
Sure. You know, it's Dr. Cuddy touched on some of this as well as the president. USI family was taught to me when I started here. It was also taught to me that if it wasn't my job, I must not work here. And I'd say that's probably what's been a theme throughout what's happening. My team meets daily. We have a lot of operational aspects, and we're keeping people employed. They're doing a variety of things, from being available for contact to working on procedures to cross-training each other, to definitely processing remotely, processing payments. We've had a few select folks who are coming to campus that are processing payments periodically. The bills are being paid, students are being made whole. We are definitely centered that way. And so I feel very good about what we've been able to do. We've been able to keep people employed remotely in so many ways that I've been really, really amazed at how quickly we pivoted. And we've had great support to get people access as well. So feel really good about where we are. And I think that people feel supported. If you do not hear, and we've given a lot of resources from everything to concern, if they felt like they needed to speak to someone, if you hear anything out there from us, feel free to send me a message, let me know of anyone that needs some help, and we'll make sure that they get help.
Thanks so much, Steve. And a reminder to the group, comments are welcome as well. If you have a question or a comment, we want to make sure this is interactive. We can provide your comments back to the body. So please use that chat feature to do that if you would, now or anytime during the course of our discussion. I want to turn, as I mentioned earlier, to David Bauer in regard to Dr. Doss's comments related to the Here and Now Fund. David, can you talk about how that's being used and how folks are contributing to that?
Thank you, Kendra. Yes, we decided that from March 17th until we reconvene on campus, all the monies that come to the Here Now Fund will be used for direct student aid. And we have some endowments that are unrestricted that can help also. So people are continuing to be generous. Some major gifts have happened in the past few weeks. But I thank Dr. Doss for mentioning the fact that through the financial care team, there's a unified way for students to apply or for faculty or staff to refer students to get the help they need. And that's working very well because it's direct deposit into their accounts. and they have these emergency funds. So it's a good system. I really appreciate Dr. Kayyum's remarks. What all of you who are retired put in place and taught all of us is still current, and you can be very proud of your university. Thank you.
Thanks so much, David. Dr. Kayyum, would like to go to you now. We mentioned earlier that there have been a lot of activities happening. One of the things that students ask us about very early on was pass, no pass, and Faculty Senate and others have put that forward. Can you talk about that and some of the other changes to help students?
Yes, Kendra, as you can imagine, this is highly disruptive to a large portion of our student body. And you know, we've had to consider many angles to this. But we did receive feedback from students that the disruption has really caused their learning experiences to be very difficult. And one of the ways in which many institutions across the nation have tried to address this particular concern was by giving students the option, if their access, internet connectivity, other emotional and other stresses were making it very difficult for them to complete or perform well within their academic programs, that they had the ability to choose for particular courses or any course, the pass, no pass option. At USI, we do have a pass, no pass, and if somebody chooses that, typically it will replace any letter grade. And we've adopted that for this period, just for this semester, where that would be applicable and it wouldn't be harmful to the students in terms of their cumulative GPA calculation. We've had relief from the state and from the federal government where it will impact their academic performance indicators for aid. And so as a whole, I think it was a discussion where we had some other viewpoints, which is that maybe some students will take advantage of it and do what maybe had been accomplished up to March 17th, and then use that as a basis to say, I really don't need to do much more in this course. I don't think that's going to be the general case, but we discussed and debated all of that. What I would want to mention is that there are two things that I'm observing with regard to this period. Many of our students are being forced in one way or another to become more independent as learners, because the way in which the technology works, a lot of the burden more is on them to spend time and to prepare. And our faculty are also being forced to consider alternative ways of evaluating learning. The 50-minute exam that's timed in a period when the internet isn't working in a stable way for many students may not be the best way to evaluate whether that class is achieving its objectives. And that's been a struggle, I think, for some of our members, but I think it's a good discussion that we started to have based on what we're seeing. And some other academic policy changes have occurred, but generally, I think the faculty have been very supportive. Faculty Senate has supported our efforts, and our student body, I think, is recognizing that, though we do have multiple instances of students still grappling with this change.
Thank you, Dr. Kayyum. A reminder to please submit any questions or comments that you have through the chat feature. If we have some time at the end, and since there are several folks who are on just phone line, we may try and open that up. So if you could be thinking about any questions you might have. We do have a comment though from the body. I have a student at USI this semester, and I've been very impressed with the transition to online, and also impressed with the efforts made to keep things going, and just want to say a big thank you to all employees at USI. Dr. Rashan, would like to turn to you. The grit that I think this institution has had for its 55 years is coming out yet again, and I know our retirees can appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for the comment as well. I would tell you, just receiving emails from parents in particular and students that are really, in the throes of this entire situation, they have been so positive and uplifting. And we're trying to share those with faculty and staff because it's just great wind in their wings. It gives them inspirational purpose and drive, and also it just makes folks feel good about their efforts being recognized. So thank you so much for that comment. You again, I'll tell you, if you get a sense of the kinds of grit and resiliency that's being displayed, you will be so incredibly proud. Folks are finding ways to create solutions, and that's been our invitation. As a team, we've invited folks to email us, to call in, provide us with ongoing solutions that they are recognizing that may in fact be a gap with regard to our services. USI is so much known for its intimacy and its touch points, and that's what we are doing. We're being very, very intentional with regard to that, that kind of forward thinking and behavior. So I'm excited about the end result of that as well. In closing, with regard to this point, Dr. Dawes mentioned something about the responses of the students as it pertains to the outreach. The thing that we have been working hard on is we're learning more and more that each of these stories are significant, and we are hearing stories that are uplifting and some that are a bit daunting. I want folks to be mindful of what that means, and I said it too because several of you have been responsible throughout the academic year of reaching out to our students, serving as host families. You've taken our students to lunch. You've come to campus to break bread with them. Just keep them in your thoughts, because they are missing that kind of engagement from you specifically. And I want to echo what Steve and Mohammed said. Your legacy is not only intact, we are utilizing your legacy as really as our mantra. We know how you worked, how much you love this place, and also what the expectations are moving forward. So thank you so much again for the commentary. We appreciate the feedback.
Thanks, Dr. Rashan. I'm going to go with two more questions, and then we may open it up in the last 10 minutes to callers who may have a question. One just related to, and maybe either Andrew or Steve, if you could speak to this, with so many retirees not living in the local area, they're missing the Anthem benefit of silver sneakers. The USI Wellness Fitness Center is a tremendous perk and should be utilized. Is it possible to offer silver sneakers to retirees so we may have the opportunity for exercising in a community where we reside? So if you could speak to that, and then also perhaps Steve, as Dr. Rashan mentioned, related to the campus and the walking trails right now, start with you.
So you start with me on the walking trails, Kendra, is that what I understood? Yeah, we look forward to having that back open again. We just, it's not something we wanted to do, but with the limited staff, we felt like we had to have them at the entry point protecting campus and not being potentially on a call. We didn't feel like we could monitor nor protect those trails as much as we'd like to. Since there's some other alternatives for people, we hope they're still able to take advantage of that. I walk every day. I'm probably walking more than I walked in a long time. I take drives. I'm starting to go back to my childhood. I think in an odd way, there's some things that are coming back into our lives that maybe might have been overlooked and missed. And I'll let Andrew answer that question as well on the Anthem side.
Thanks, Steve. I know my dad uses silver sneakers through the YMCA, and there are other options locally, but Andrew, any thoughts related to that program?
I think it's a great program. I think it's something that we can definitely look into for retirees that aren't in the local area. One thing that I will mention, and I think Steve, you touched on it just a little bit. We had some legislation that passed. It was called the CARES Act. I think it was signed into law on the 27th of March, and it allowed for some different things. Participants are able to take a retirement plan account withdrawal through December 31 without the 20% mandatory federal law tax withholding or 10% early withdrawal penalty through September 23rd, 2020. Eligible loan amounts are revised from 50% to 100% of vested balance up to $100,000. Through December 31, 2020, participants can request a suspension of loan repayments up to a year. And then the required minimum distributions for 2020 may be suspended for 2020, allowing an opportunity to recoup any market loss savings to be built back up. We hope to have some additional information out in the next round of campus updates, as well as information in how to contact our TIAA account reps.
Thanks so much, Andrew. I'll make this the last formal question, and then we're going to try opening this up a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to direct this to Dr. Doss. We mentioned grit and resilience, and those of us on the call have had some life experience. Some of our students aren't handling this as well as they might, but we have a lot of counseling services available. Can you talk about how that has been modified to help in this virtual environment?
Sure. Mark Lowell and Dan Martin's team worked with our counseling center diligently for us to get the proper support we needed to offer telehealth counseling via this virtual space, right? There were a lot of things that they had to do to pivot to get that online. We knew that this situation would cause an increase in the amount of students who were seeking help. The level of anxiety, even in our faculty and staff, was heightened by the quickness and the quick turnaround of this. So our counseling center is still up and running as if they were still on campus. They were still seeing the students that they had appointments with prior to this happening. And that is a blessing in and of itself. They're still programming and doing group counseling as well. They're very engaged and have a pulse on what's going on with our students, because our students are really utilizing that resource. So yeah, it's going really well, Kendra.
Glad to hear it. Okay, we're going to try an experiment here. I'm going to ask Ben to unmute all the phone lines. If you would please state your name and your question, and if you can direct that to anyone on the panel here. And then if you hear someone else talking, if you could back off, and we'll try and do this as orderly as possible. So please, whoever's first. Deborah, it looks like maybe you might be up, or anyone who can hear me now and wants to speak to it from a question standpoint. Deborah, you have the floor, whether you know it or not. Do you have a question for the group? All right. Anyone who might have a phone line who is unable to use the chat function, who might want to unmute at this point and just offer a question to anyone on the panel. Now's your time to ask. All right. Well, let's move forward, and we've got just a few more minutes left. I'd like to turn back to David Bauer. David, the foundation has been working hard. You mentioned there have been some donations come through. For folks who are not as familiar with the Here and Now Fund, that is not a brand new fund, but as you mentioned, it's being marshaled for a different use.
Yes, our retirees knew it as the annual fund. We changed that name. I think it's been 4 years now. It's our unrestricted fund. And as I mentioned earlier, from March 17th until we return to campus, all of the gifts to that fund will be going for direct student aid if they need some emergency funds. So we're grateful for all the people who have been contributing and who continue to do that. And we pray for a return to campus, I hope by August 14th.
Thanks, David. A comment from the group. Thank you in all caps for everything you and the USI community are doing to navigate these uncertain times. You mentioned the 14th of August and some of the time frame. Dr. Keim, do you mind speaking a little bit to summer? We've made a decision and communicated that to the group on Monday about summer coursework and meetings on campus.
Yes, we decided that we really needed to do better than just have a week. Of course, it was on our control for faculty to make a transition. And so for summer, we had over 60 classes that were scheduled as face-to-face classes for summer 1, and then another 20 or so for summer 2. And so just to give ourselves, not knowing exactly what would happen towards April 30th and whether we'd be in a position to be back on campus, we made a decision within the last week or so to pull all of our summer scheduled classes online. So we had a good proportion already online, but there were some lab classes and some other fieldwork courses scheduled for face-to-face, and that conversion is beginning. There are some instances where we'll be able to offer some courses, but for the most part, most of those 60+ courses will be going online, and we have a window of time to prepare better from a faculty perspective and the support that's needed. As a result of making the decision not to have face-to-face classes, to be consistent, we've also canceled all events on campus for the duration of the summer period. Particularly, well, just all events that were scheduled that involve large gatherings of people. And as we update on the next step, as we come towards April 20th, I think we'll have a better understanding of exactly what might be possible if decisions were made to get back to campus sometime within the summer period.
Thanks, Dr. Kayam. We're approaching the end of our time together. So last call on any comments or questions that you have through the chat feature, which is at the bottom of your screen. We do have a comment. Dr. Rashan, I'll direct this to you. Thanks for the good news yesterday about the appointment of Stan as the new basketball coach. If you could speak to that and perhaps commencement again. And I know that was right off the top and some may have missed that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much again. It really is exciting, to have Coach Gerard come back home, if you will. That's exactly what he said. He indicated that he and his wife and his daughter are excited about coming back home to serve USI, be part of the community, and really, engage in our athletic program, men's basketball specifically. So thank you. I've been receiving emails and text messages about this hire, and folks are really excited. And if you get a chance, when we get him on campus, just reach out to him directly. I think he would love to hear from folks like you all specifically about your enthusiasm about his return. Again, with regard to commencement, we're going to do our best to make sure that we celebrate these students in the most phenomenal way. Our goal is to make sure that families get to utilize this milestone as a memorable event that they will always treasure. I've received emails, several in fact, that have spoken directly about commencement from mothers and fathers and from students directly. They want to have this event go on as scheduled. We're going to do our best to honor the August 14th celebration. We know that it's going to be tough, but we're going to do our very best. And if not, we'll fold it into a later date. But our goal is to make sure that those students get to walk across that stage, shake my hand, receive their degree, and most importantly, have their mom and dad and grandparents and other family members look at them, take pictures, and celebrate. This is about them, and we want to make sure we hold it up in the most special kind of way.
Thank you, Dr. Rashan. Don't have any further questions or comments. I'll try and address those in the last minutes if they come through. But for now, I think we're ready to wrap it up. If you'd like to take us out, Dr. Rashan.
Yeah, again, listen, folks, we hope that this was time worthy for you. We are doing our very best to make sure that as many people as possible are connected to the university, and make sure that that how important you are to us. So thank you for taking the time, to log in, to listen to us, deliver responses to your questions. Please tell other friends of the university that this is going to be available. As Kendra indicated at the top of the hour, they will have access to it. They can go back and look at this at their convenience. And then also, if there are other ways in which we can provide additional updates to you, reach out to us. Let us know. We're going to do our very best to be responsive. I'm asking everyone, please take good care of yourself. We know that this virus has been devastating across the globe. In fact, it's becoming closer and closer to home in many ways for several of us. And so I just want to ask you to please take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We know for a fact that we're going to get through this together. USI is known for that's our DNA, togetherness. And so I thank you again for giving us your time, an amazing gift today, your time, and allowing us to spend that with you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Go Eagles. Take care.
Thank you all. As Dr. Rashan mentioned, usi.edu/COVID-19 is the place for all the updated information. Keep your eyes to your email if you would, and we'll keep in touch. Stay safe.
Bye.